And Mr. Zolot,
Here.
thank you. And Mr. Raper.
I'm here.
Awesome. All right. So we will jump in. The first order of business is actually to approve our agenda. So let me click on that link and then we'll review last month's, which was March, because we didn't meet in April for spring break. So I'll pull that to our screen. So our agenda today is pretty short. Let me pull it up. And then I will share my screen again. All right. So our agenda for today is, we've already done our call to order and roll call. We will go through and approve last month's agenda meeting. We'll just quickly look at our year in review attendance since we're at the end of the school year. Some initial year in review map data, just at a high level. We don't have the deep dive yet. We have to select one more additional meeting. I'll give context then. And then just some updates of our end of the year events and moving into next year. So that's our agenda to today. Do we have anyone who wishes to add anything or any amendments to the agenda for today? All right. If not, do I have a motion to approve?
Yes.
Thank you, Ms. Thompson. Do I have a motion to second it? Thank you, Ms. Harvey. I saw you in the screen. All right, so all those in favor say aye or raise your hand.
Aye.
Thank you. I see hands. Any nays? Or any abstentions? All right, so we will move forward with our agenda, which is the next thing is to look over last month's meeting and see if we have to make any amendments, if there was any typos or anything. So we met on March 4th at 4:30. We went over that day again. Oh, there's one typo. I spelled wildly wrong. Our wildly important of attendance. We talked about just the rezoning process that was happening with APS and shared those options, and then an update on events and academic supports at that time, like tutorial that were leading us into spring break. No one from the public was present. We had announcements and we closed out. So here, that's our agenda. Here are all the notes of who was present and absent. Ms. Bird was not listed because we did fill that seat. Yes, Ms. Bird, do you have a question?
No, sorry, I didn't mean to do that.
Okay, thank you. And so we filled Ms. Bird's seat, and then that's why she's added today. So we filled her seat. We talked about, again, I'll fix that typo, attendance. And so here are details notes here where we voted Ms. Bird in about our updates for attendance, the updates for rezoning that no one was present, and just shared our announcements, and we adjourned at 4:51. So if there's no other updates besides my typos, or are there any other updates for the team? Okay, so I'll notate that we updated the spelling. Do we have a motion to approve the agenda?
I motion to approve the agenda.
Thank you, Mr. Raper. Do we have a motion to second it? Thank you, Ms. Jordan. And so all those who are in favor say aye. Thank you. Any abstentions? All right, so we approved it today on May 6th, and that will be loaded on our website. So we will go back to our meeting today. And we will just share our current attendance updates. So anyone, whoops, I pressed the wrong button. If you have any questions, of course, come off mute. But as we're nearing the last 14 days, this is our current attendance. So as of today, our average K-8 for the year is 63.6%. This is up from last year at 54. And so we're super proud of that, although we know our goal was 75. We were shooting high, but we have made progress. We know if scholars continue to come the rest of the year, we can even improve this a few percentage points. And so while there's only 14 days, we want to make sure scholars are still here. When we look at all the other KIPP schools, we are trending on par with pretty much all of them, neck and neck with Seoul, a little higher than Vision, a little lower, but we can get there with Ways, significantly lower than Strive. So that's when we look at charter schools, although we know we're the only KIPP school that's not charter. When we look at schools in our cluster, so elementary, middle, and high schools in our cluster, we are higher than pretty much all except for Finch, Harper, Perkison, and Scott. So for the community that we're serving, we are doing a great job. We know the middle school right up the street is John Lewis. And so we are having, it's even if we were to take out just middle school 6-8, we are still higher than that. And so we are proud of that. We know we have to have kids here to learn. When we look at other schools, so other partner schools like us, we're also trending higher than those. But of course, we want to continue to get better. We can say year over year in our 5 years we have, but we want to continue to grow. These are our attendance averages for the year by grade. Third grade has had the highest attendance all year, with second and kindergarten struggling with the lowest. In middle school, it is seventh. That has taken a hit lately, but the middle school lower one has varied. Kinder and second have always had a hard time. We're continuing to do our attendance incentives. The region is doing regional ones. We've had 2 Woodson Park families win, so that's fun. Families today who are in the running to earn a TV at the end of the year all receive those letters. So we're continuing to push that. This is where we are, and we hope that it will be at least a little above 65 by the last day of school. We also took MAP 2 weeks ago. We know we're currently taking milestones. 3rd grade finished, 5th and 8th are finishing up. And then our 4th grade and 7th graders started today. And then 6th also finished. So lots of testing happening. We won't get those scores back for quite some time, but we do have initial MAP data back. So when we look at as a whole, K-8, not grade levels, not taken apart, this is our achievement data. So this also doesn't show growth necessarily, but it just shows our scholars on grade level. And this is the breakdown combined by every grade combined for math. So we still see about half of our school building, kindergarten to 8th grade, is well below grade level in math. When you take the data out, you can see it varied by grade. So while all of this red, for example, for the lowest quintile below grade level adds up to about 50%, we can see that some grades like 3rd and kindergarten are a bit below that, while some grades like 5th are a bit above that. This is our reading data. So similar, if we scrolled back, if you look at the different quintiles, actually pretty similar percentages for reading K-8. This is when you look at the different grade levels. So again, the average is about 42%, well below, 25% below. You can see it's differing by grade level, with 5th grade having a lot of scholars. Oh, and this is the MAP data. Sorry, I had that wrong, but with a lot of scholars below grade level. But it varies by grade. We're excited to begin also to dig deeper into growth data, because if scholars, we know when you're significantly behind, it's not a 1-year thing. But if scholars are consistently hitting their growth target year over year, within a few years, they can catch up to the grade level. And so we're excited to be able to dig into the data once we get it at that level, so we can really see for the next year, who do we need to target for continued growth, especially. Because we know scholars who didn't hit their growth goal this year have a little more to grow next year. Before we go on, does anyone have any questions about any of the data, whether it was attendance data or MAP data? Questions, insights, thoughts, anything? All right. So the next one, we will need insight. I found out last Wednesday that we have to schedule an additional meeting. We know we have to have 6 business meetings in a year. And so this was our 6th. However, the meeting in November did not count since we did not have a quorum established. So we have until the end of June to conduct this meeting. Obviously, we know we have 2 more weeks of school. And so our teachers on this committee, their last day is May 28th. So we don't want to do it after May 28th. We could just say we'll do it next Monday. We could say we want to do it tomorrow. It's whatever we want. And I would push us to try to do it by the last day of school if possible, which would be Friday, May 24th. So if anyone has any suggested dates that would work or would definitely not, we can decide just sort of as a team what's the consensus, and we can still do it at the same time, 4:30 on the same Zoom link, and I'll just update the invite after we decide. So whether you drop in the chat or come off mute, if anyone has a suggestion. Miss Jordan says she's open for next Monday.
I'm open for next Monday as well.
Okay, and next Monday, today is the 6th. So next Monday would be Monday, the 13th. Okay, Miss Thompson, Miss Jordan, and Miss Harvey are fine.
Yep, I follow those motions.
Thompson, Raper, Harvey, and Jordan. So if we could have 2 more members, because if we have Miss Jordan, Miss Thompson, Mr. Raper, and Miss Harvey, if we had 2 more members that could make it, that would work. So of the members, would Chase, Stewart, Bird, or Mr. Zola be able to attend next Monday, the 13th?
I could do the 13th.
I can do the 13th.
Okay, thank you guys. Thanks, Stuart. Okay, so we will have enough. Is there a motion to approve us doing Monday, May 13th at 4:30 as our last meeting? All right, I see Mr. R, motion to approve.
Yep, I motion to approve.
Do I have a motion to second? Thank you, Ms. Harvey. And we had all members voting, and so we'll be able to pass. So I will send, as soon as we get off that invite, it will be the same Zoom link. All right, so our last updates, again, with the continued rezoning. Unsurprisingly, our families came back in surveys voting for option 3, which was not necessarily shared at the beginning, but saying we want to figure something else out. We do not want to rezone in these exact ways that were presented. And so there's been a number of series of additional meetings. And so the next one where APS will share updates with families in the community is next Thursday, May 16th. And they've been sending it out. APS has been sending it out, and we have as well on Parent Square and Instagram, and we will continue to. It's a Zoom meeting. If you or any community members would like to hear about how is the rezoning going to occur in our community, to see what are they going ahead with. We're super thankful for all of our families who are participating in the surveys. Attendance at meetings has been super low, but thankful for families voicing, what they want, because it's important that we are serving with our community and that we have everyone's voice. So continue to have people come, and just if there's any questions, for them to attend on Zoom next Thursday to just hear the updates. We also hear them, so I don't have any more beyond that right now. We know there is a lot of events in the next 14 days of school. We know, again, milestones through Friday, and then next week we have our field trips, our final field trips and field day. 8th grade has their bridging next Friday. They have their prom and their dinner the night before. 8th graders go Monday the 20th to Washington, D.C., the scholars who have earned it. All of those staying behind in 8th grade and kindergarten through 7th, we will go on a field trip to support our high schoolers at KC as they select where they're going to college. Thanks, Tom, for joining. We have kindergarten and 4th grade bridging, awards days, last day of school. So lots of things coming up. If you are a community member or a family member, we would love to have you volunteer for field day, any of those events if you would like, and just make sure you reach out to our parent liaison, Dr. Taylor, if you would. If you don't have her contact information, you can also just tell me and I can put you in touch with them. As you all know, we have shared there's a transition. So that was our next update, was just transition in leadership. As Mr. Mathis and I have been asked to make a different plan for next year. And so Mr. Mathis will transition down the road to Kip Soul. We are truly, truly trying to work together to make sure, as someone said, oh, you guys are just going to make sure you're serving both ends of Bankhead. And we said, yes. So making sure we're bringing some of the supports to Soul as well as here and really working together. But this is sort of what the new structure will look like. I will be the campus principal. And so with that, okay, thank you, Ms. Jordan. I will for volunteering. With that, we will have 2 principal fellows who will really be serving in similar roles as they're learning. Of course, being a principal fellow is what Mr. Mathis and I have done the past 3 years, just a little bit less responsibility since they're also learning in those roles. In the primary level, we will still have the same number of assistant principals as we have had. We will get 1 more assistant principal that used to be a teacher leader role for middle school. And this is the model that all K-8 schools in KIPP Metro Atlanta, so all schools except our one KIPP South Fulton, will be following. We do not have anyone from the public today, so it was a day open for public comment, but we don't have anyone. And so with that is just our final announcements, remembering again to do your trainings if your name is listed. And Mr. Zola had a little bit of a time finding some of his training, so we were able to connect with GOTeam. So just let me know if you can't find them. For people on, we need Ms. Thompson, Mr. Stewart, and Ms. Jordan to finish. And then again, remembering we just decided our next meeting is next Monday at 4:30. I will send that out as soon as we get off. And I will make sure, Ms. Jordan, that I connect you with Dr. Taylor to come help. That will be great. But with that, at 4:56, we have nothing else. Do I have a motion to adjourn the meeting? Thank you, Ms. Harvey. A motion to second. All right, thank you, Mr. R. All right, everybody, have a great Monday. Thank you for coming, and I'll see you guys next week.